guys, so in this video we're going to talk about how to do an ANOVA in SPSS, and I'm going to point you to the output and try to explain what is going on. So this data set that I'm using includes a score for a certain variable. Think of it as whatever you want, like performance on a test, what condition they were in. So let's say that we're talking about caffeine, so 1 means they got 50 milligrams, 2 they got 100, and 3 they got no caffeine, or something like that. And then student type is whether they're an undergrad or a graduate student. So if they're an undergrad, they would be a 1, and if they're a 2, they would be a graduate student. And then school type is 1 for public and 2 for private. So if you look at the variable view right here, you can see the values right here for these conditions. So yeah, so 1 would be no caffeine, 2 would be 50, 3 would be 100, and so on, and same here. So if you look at these right here, notice that school type has 2 levels, student type has 2 levels, and then condition has 3 levels. So the first thing that you should start thinking about is first, how many factors do you have in this ANOVA? So you would, this is the score, so this is going to be your DV, so you have 3 factors or 3 independent variables. Each of them has, well, student type and school type have 2 levels, and then condition has 3 levels. So in total, you would have 2 times 2 times 3 conditions, right? So it would be 4 times 3, which is 12 conditions. So if you're asked about the number of cells or conditions, then that would be this. You get this by multiplying the number of levels for each one. Whereas factors mean just independent variables. All right, so I actually have a limit of 5 minutes with these recordings, so I'm going to try to go over this as fast as I can. Let's say that you want to do a one-way ANOVA, so you just want to use one variable as your predictor. So you would go to Analyze, and then go to General Linear Model, and then go to Univariate. And so you would put the dependent variable here, which is score, and then whatever your independent variable that you're looking at, you would put in the fixed factor. And so you don't need to do anything for this section, except if you do want to get the means, which is something that you will be required to do in this assignment. You would put the condition on the horizontal axis right here, and then you would add it to the plot. So just keep that in mind. You just have to go to plots here, and then hit continue, and then okay. All right, so here it's telling you, notice, it's telling you the 3 levels that you have, and this is the ANOVA table. So notice that here you get the mean squares. So if someone were to ask you what the error variance is in here in terms of mean squared deviations, you would report this number right here where it says error. The degrees of freedom are 2 for condition, so these are the degrees of freedom between, and then 147 for degrees of freedom within, and these are the total degrees of freedom. Notice that you have your R squared here, so your model explains 2.7% of the variance, and this is the means plot. So if someone asked you something about what do you see from this means plot, you would probably say that it looks like people who take 50 milligrams of caffeine tend to perform better than both the people in the no caffeine and the 100 milligram caffeine condition. All right, and one last thing is if we look at significance right here, we are looking at significance for condition. Notice that the sig value is 0.132, so it's not significant. So if you look right here, it looks like there might be a difference, but the difference is not significant.